January 2022 shows that there were over 23,000 properties under foreclosure filing. So this includes default notices, scheduled auctions, or bank repossessions. So this shows an increase of over 29% month to month and over 139% year to year. What's up, YouTube? In today's video, I'm going to talk about which list to pull this month of March 2022, because understanding seasonality in your business is key to marketing lists in your wholesaling business. I made a video earlier in the month of February talking about which list to target in February, but now we're in a new month and I want to show you all which list to target on Propstream. If you all are interested in using Propstream, where I pull these lists, check the link down below. With my link, you get 7 free day trial. It just really helps support this channel. So click the link to check out Propstream down below. So once again, this is key to understanding your business, because your cash buyers, your investors may have a different buying pattern depending on the year, or even depending on the different months and the different weeks of the year. And you also have to look at the news. You got to look at different rates and do a bunch of research in order to know which list to target for every single month or every single quarter of the year. But in today's video, you don't have to do that, because I have done all the research that is needed in order to find the best properties to target. So I looked at foreclosure rates, I looked at vacancy rates, I looked at home equity increases, price increases, and other factors regarding the real estate market in order to help you target your properties better. To start, the first list I want to talk about is relating to what I first said in the beginning of this video. Foreclosures have increased a lot, especially in the first month of this year. And with that higher foreclosure rate comes higher pre-foreclosure, right? That's essentially what it is, because more and more people, more and more banks are becoming stricter with calling their property owners, letting them know, hey, you have defaulted on your loans. We're going to take back our property. And especially with the low supply, the low inventory of houses, banks are on top of it even more, because they understand that people are trying to buy houses. And so if someone owns a house but haven't been paying payments for months or even years, they are going to target that property owner, because they know that there are other property owners who are way more qualified that can make payments and are looking for a house during this low inventory season. So we're going to target pre-foreclosures, but specifically zombie properties. So what are zombie properties? So zombie properties are homes in pre-foreclosure, and on top of that, they are vacant properties. So essentially, let's say a property owner got a letter from their bank saying, hey, we're going to foreclose on your house because you haven't been paying payments. And the owner of that property, the property owner just moves out, right? Maybe they have a second home. Maybe they don't really care about the bank taking their property. And so they just leave the house. And so the house is under pre-foreclosure, and on top of that, it's vacant. So these are really great properties to target in your real estate journey. So how do you target these properties? Now I'm going to share my screen with you all. I'm going to drill into Propstream and show you all how to find zombie properties on Propstream. All right, so now we're in Propstream. I'm just looking at a random address, Atlanta, Georgia. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go down to filters. The great thing about Propstream is that they have this zombie property quick list option, so you don't have to do the filters yourself. And since this is a super niche list, it's only 42 properties in the whole Atlanta, Georgia, that's showing on Propstream at least, that are pre-foreclosed and vacant. So that's the first list to target, because I looked at the rates of foreclosures. You know, it's been increasing. I actually looked at zombie rates too, because zombie properties is a term that every real estate investor uses and they know about it. And they actually show a slight decrease in zombie properties. And that's because people are able to sell their properties once they get a letter from their bank, because they have equity, because they have an increase in their price. So they just sell the property as opposed to just abandoning it like they used to do. All right, so the second list I want to talk about are vacation rental properties. So I looked up this information about vacation rental increases, like their equity increases. And it's just crazy, because you have all these properties like in Wyoming, Colorado, Utah. A lot of them are like pretty expensive houses, right? I think the lowest one is at $451, which is not too expensive, right? But these are different areas and prices where you can buy Airbnbs or have your investors buy. And so you can target these areas, get them under contract, sell them to your property investor or cash buyer. And the thing is, investors have to look early for these properties in order to have them live on Airbnb by October, by November and December. So they're looking for the property 2-3 months. They close on it another month. They renovate it and furnish it. That's another 3 or 4 months. And then hopefully by then it'll be October or November and they have the house ready. So make sure you go after vacation rental properties. And it doesn't have to specifically be in Colorado, Utah, or Wyoming, any of these places. It can be in warmer states, warmer areas also. So like I know here in Tennessee, we have Gatlinburg, Tennessee with the Smoky Mountains, a lot of cabins up there. Some of them are super expensive, but you can find one under 500 grand. I know like in Alabama, North Florida, they have like houses near the beach. Those are other vacation rental properties and areas that you can target, whether you're doing virtually or if you live around those areas. So on Propstream, all you have to do is just run a traditional high equity, maybe absentee list. So what I would do, I would keep these the same. I'll just make sure these are like all types, single family, condo, multifamily, all these type of things. But one thing that Propstream has right here is that you can actually put home features right here. And let's say you're in Florida or California and you need them to have a pool, right? You can click pool right here. So that, I think that's pretty interesting or something like that. But let me exit out the zombie properties too on top of that. So if you want pool and everything like that, it would be a residential property and yeah. And so you would still go over these other things. So for example, ownership information. To me, like it can be a minimum of 3 years in this market. And even valuation and equity can go lower. It can be like 30% or something like that. Like I remember even 2 years ago, I would have to put like 70%, but now I can put 30% and still find a deal, right? So that's how I would find vacation rental properties using Propstream. So the third list that I want to target is, according to this article, it talks about opportunity zones and how an opportunity zone, basically an opportunity zone are properties in an area where it's low income properties, right? Low income salaried people who own these specific properties. But these properties have been increasing in price and equity and everything like that. And more people are buying in these areas because a lot of people where they're may have been used to living in a certain area, they've been priced out of that area because of the increase in houses. And so they'd have to look at these other areas where it probably wasn't the best of neighborhoods, a little bit rougher neighborhoods and different things like that. Opportunity zones come from the government, you know, incentivizing people to invest in these areas, to redevelop them, do new construction, rehabs, and other things like that. In a way, gentrification, but people are doing that, and now more and more investors are buying in like these rough areas. So make sure that you start looking at rough areas, and like that's something that I have to consider for my business because I've noticed that I never targeted those areas, but now I can. Now I can go to those zip codes that I know are a little bit rough, but investors are now buying in them because I looked at the rates of sales in opportunity zones, right? I did the research for you guys. It was this article that I read and everything like that. But one thing to set yourself apart or to find opportunity zones in Propstream, right? They don't obviously have an opportunity zone, or you may not know the zip codes in rough areas. One thing is, of course, talk to other investors, talk to other wholesalers, go to your Facebook group, kind of see what zip codes or what areas investors are not talking about, right? And kind of look on Zillow, look at the images of houses in this particular zip code. That's one way you can find opportunity zones. Another thing on Propstream that I like is you can go to valuation and equity and look at estimated value. Usually properties in this area are lower valued. So for example, in Atlanta, Georgia, I can put houses less than $120,000 of value. And most likely they would be in rougher areas and areas where it may be an opportunity zone, right? If you don't want to go super low, let's say you want to keep it between Because let's say you're in a high price area like Oregon, you can be like between 150,000 to 250,000 if that's an opportunity zone in your area, depending on where you're at. So you kind of have to know your medium home prices in your area and other things like that. So the first list I talked about were zombie properties that are in pre-foreclosure and are vacant. The second type of properties I talked about were vacation rental properties. Make sure you put those different features like pools or any other factors. Another thing for finding vacation rentals is that you can go on Zillow and you can search by keywords, like if there's any keywords in descriptions, and you can put like cabin or cabin to fill or something like that within the keyword search. And number three, I talked about opportunity zones. So opportunity zones are properties in low income areas that you can target, because more and more investors are going there to invest in properties because there has been an increase in prices, and so they're able to make more money in those areas than before. All right, once again, check out Propstream down below if you're interested. Use my link. I hope you all enjoyed this video. These are the lists that I'm going to try to target this month of March 2022, and I'll talk to you all later. Peace.